to the webinar of Understanding Fundamental Research Products hosted by Motilal Oswal. So my name is Sneha Poddar and I'm a fundamental research analyst, and I'll help you run through the various fundamental research products that we come out with, which you can make a better use of it. So whenever the name Motilal Oswal flashes in front of us, so whenever the name Motilal Oswal flashes in front of us, the one thing that actually comes to our mind is the solid research. And we also have a tagline with solid research, solid advice. So research has been our USP for years. Now we have two research desks. One is institutional research desk and one is retail research desk. And from both the desks, we have various products that come out on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, and also as and when basis. So today I'll introduce to these all the various reports that we have, and with various different frequencies that we come out with. So let me start with the institutional research reports first. We have the first report which we have is the Morning India, which comes, it's a daily report which comes first thing in the morning. So let me show you the report as well. That will help you in understanding how the report looks like. So this is the first page of the report. On the left-hand side, we have the market snapshot, which helps you in understanding how the Indian markets, the global markets have performed over the previous day, and how the various commodities, currencies have changed, along with the bond performance and the FIs and the DI inflows. On the right hand side, we have the top research ideas. So basically this reports cover various research reports, which can be a company update, which can be a sector update, the talk with an expert or annual report analysis. So it covers a whole lot of reports, and out of all those reports that we cover up, we pick up one idea as a top research idea for the day, and a brief snapshot is given over here. Then if we go down, we have a news section wherein we give you the important news which we feel that are important and would help you in trading during the day. So the important news with the link for the news, if you want to dig deeper into the news, that link is also there. So you can go through them. And then from the third page, we start with the research reports. Here there's a sector update. So for each and every report, we cover the first page in the Morning India, and then there's a link as I'm showing it over here. The PDF link is there. If you want to read the report in details, and you can click on this PDF link, and the detailed report would open. So similar to this sector update, we have then EcoScope, which is our economic update. Again, the link is there for a detailed report if anyone wants to go through. Otherwise, a brief summary is already here. Then we have company updates, expert speaks. So there are a whole lot of reports that we come up with on a daily basis. Post that, we have in conversation section, which covers the interview with the management on various media platforms, be it print, be it online video. So we give you the brief snapshot of the interview, and we also have a link mentioned over here, read more, wherein you can click on that link and read the entire interview. Then we have a think tank, wherein if any interesting article that we come up, so we even post a summary over here with a link given as read more, and you can click on that link, and that will take you to the entire article. Then we have the MOS, the index and the MOFSL universe stock performance. So here, the entire coverage that we have of about 240 to 250 companies. So their stock performance gets covered over here. So 1 day, 1 month, and the 12-month performance gets covered. So this is in short what Morning India is all about. Next, we have initiating coverage. So this is a report which we come out on as on when basis, and So basically what happens is we keep on meeting various management from time to time, and we keep on meeting various experts, industry experts, and we keep on attending the industry conferences and all. So based on these, we keep on radar various companies under our soft coverage, and whenever we see some good traction in them, we take a then we initiate coverage on that company. So initiating coverage is basically it's a very detailed analysis of a company. When we initiate a coverage, so we're bringing the company to our coverage, and we would be giving you update from time to time on that company. So in the initial report, which is the initiating coverage, we would give you a detailed report as to the history of the company, its entire background, what it has done in the past, and why we like the company going forward. So what are the key themes on which our basis, on the basis of which we are liking this company. Then the key points which I'll just also take you to the report, so that will help you in actually understand the report. Yeah, so this is the content. So initially we would have some industry background as to which industry this company belongs to, and how the industry is doing, and with the industry, how the company is doing. Then we give you the brief snapshot, the historical snapshot of the company, and the various themes on which we like the company. And then we also give you a detail about its core management team. We also have the SWOT analysis, wherein we highlight the strength, weakness of the company. We also give you the and then at the end we have the overall financials of the company and the valuation. So in the valuation and view, we'll give you as in brief as to why we like the company and on what basis compared to the peers we are valuing the company and arriving at a certain target price. Uh, so there's a first page of that initiating coverage, which is a brief summary as to why we like the company. So if somebody doesn't want to go through the entire report, then they can go through this first page. On the left hand side, you would find the market data on the top. Then you would have the financial snapshot, wherein you would get the you would get the estimates that we are projecting for the company for next 2 to 3 years, and then you would find the shareholding pattern. Then below there's a, if you can see it over here, there's an analyst photograph over here, and below that there's a link, there's a video link. So somebody can also actually, if the person doesn't have the time to go over the report, then they can actually hear the video link and get a brief understanding about why we like the company. So this is all about the initiating coverage. Then we have uh, the company updates. So the company update is nothing but once we come out with the initiating coverage, we try getting the updates on that company from time to time. So it can be a result update during the quarterly results, or whenever we interact with the management, it could be a management interaction, or if certain corporate action has happened or some event has taken place, so the analysis are there. So we keep on coming with various updates so that the client remains totally updated with what is happening with that company. Along with that, we also come out with the sector update. So from time to time, we keep on meeting various industry experts, or we keep on attending the industry conferences and all. And that gives us insight into how the sector overall would be performing. So we come out with sector updates with that perspective, and then we give a concluding para as to, like, how the sector would perform in the near term and what would our pick B or strategy B in that in the current scenario. Then we have EcoScope, which is also as and when kind of report. So whenever the in this report, basically we cover whatever the economic data comes out from time to time. So like the inflation data gets covered, the import-export data, then the GDP growth rate. So whatever economic data comes out, so analysis of that is covered over here, and we have a team of economists who actually looks into the entire this thing. Then we have expert speak. So as I said earlier, also we keep on interacting with the industry experts, or the key bureaucrats and all. So whatever the key takeaways are from there, we highlight it in our expert speak report. Then we have a report which focuses on corner office. So uh, from time to time, we keep on interacting with the CEOs of the companies. So that interaction gets covered over here. It's an unrated report. Here, there is no rating, nothing mentioned over here. It's just the brief interview that we had with the CEO, brief interaction, and the key takeaways are covered over here. Then we have annual report threadbare. So we have a separate team for this. It's a team of CAs which are there and who specializes in reading into the annual reports. And so they dig deep into the annual report and then come out with its various findings. So again, this is a unrated report, and it just clearly gives you only the key findings from the annual reports with no valuation view, nothing. Then let's move on to the monthly reports, which are Bulls and Bears and Fund Folio. Bulls and Bears is one of the most sought after report. So in Bulls and Bears, basically it's a kind of valuation handbook wherein we cover how the Indian markets have performed over the past 1 month, how the global markets have performed, and then how the various sectors have performed over the 1 month. And we also give the view as to what our strategy should be going ahead, looking at the past performance. It also contains what our topics would be in the large cap and the mid cap space. As you can see, initially we would dig deep into the Indian equities, how the valuation metrics look like in the current environment and how the performance has been. Then how the large cap versus mid cap performance has been and their valuation. And then each sector wise is a full sector valuations and the overview as to how the sector had performed over the past 1 month. So there would be a brief snapshot as to what were the factors that affected the sector, and then the valuation snapshot would be given for that sector. So all these sectors get covered over there. Then we have fund folio. So basically, fund folio is a monthly report again, wherein it covers the mutual fund performance over the past 1 month. So again, the overall how the mutual fund industry has performed, what were the sectors which were in flavor, which were out of the flavor, which were the companies which were mostly added, or which were the companies which were sold on a larger basis. And then we cover a whole lot of funds under this. So individually for large fund houses, we would give a snapshot as to what was their like top 10 large holdings, or what were the additions that they did, what were the selling that they did. So all that gets covered over here. Then let's come to the quarterly note that we have. So on the quarterly basis, we come out with the quarterly preview and the review note, which comes under the India strategy. We also come out with strategy notes on a monthly basis or as and when basis. But this we definitely come out with the quarterly preview and review. So let me open a quarterly preview for you, which will help you in better understanding the report. So as you can see, so there's a page wherein it contains the index to the entire MOFSL coverage universe, and you can click on the company and go to that certain companies page, wherein you would get what are our estimates that we have for the quarter for that particular company. So basically, whenever the quarterly earnings season starts, so prior to that, we come out with the quarterly estimates as to what kind of earnings we are projecting for the sector per se, and the companies which are there under our coverage in that particular sector. So you would find earnings estimate for all the 240, 250 companies that we have under coverage. So you can click on any of the company and then look at the estimates that we have. This page is a brief snapshot as to what we can expect for the overall quarterly earnings season. And so overall, what can we expect for the Nifty as a whole? And then what we can expect for the particular sectors. So which sectors would be performing good, which sectors would be underperforming, which would be laggards, which would be the gainers out of them. Then you would find the topics based on the estimates that we have. You would also find the Nifty estimates for the, for the entire Nifty basket. Basically, you would find the earnings estimate. Uh, and in brief, you would find a snapshot as to how the each sector would, how the each sector would be performing, and which companies under it would be the leaders. Would be outperforming, and which would be the underperformers in that sector. Then we also come out with a model portfolio in this preview report. So basically, this model portfolio is it's based on the kind of expectation that we have. So we screen various sectors, we shortlist certain sectors where we have positive stance, and then based on the positive stance on those sectors, we select the companies which would perform better, and we build this model portfolio, and we keep on reviewing this portfolio every quarter. And we also give us a brief snapshot as to why we are adding a particular company to this portfolio, or why we are exiting a particular company to this portfolio. So there's a good portfolio that one can actually keep on tracking on a quarterly basis. So similarly, once the quarter ends, we come out with the review for the entire quarter. So again, it's almost similar to the preview. Initially, we would, on the front page, we would give you how the overall quarter was for the Nifty 50 and for the various sectors. So sector-wise, we will give you a brief snapshot as to how the performance was for each sector. And within that sector, who are the laggards and who are the gainers. And then for each company, you would get in details what was the how the quarterly earnings season was for them. So this is all from the institutional research desk. Now let me come to the retail research desk. So over here, we also we come out with high conviction ideas and the contra picks from time to time. So idea over here is to basically, since the institutional desk already has a coverage of about 240 to 50 companies, but then from among them, which is the idea which we feel that would run over next 2 to 3 months. So we pick those ideas and we push it as a high conviction idea. Or even if, say, suppose from a long term perspective, though we are not bullish on a particular company, but then from a short term perspective, we feel that the company would perform well, then we come out with the contra pick kind of note. So there's a very short note that we come out with. It's a 2-3 pager kind of note, with first page containing the brief summary as to why we like the company, and then you would have story and charts and the financials. So it helps you in trading in these counters from a medium term perspective. Then we also come out with sector of the month. So from time to time, we keep on evaluating various sectors. And if we feel that in a particular month, a certain sector should actually do well, then we push that sector as the sector of the month. And we would give you a brief highlight as to why we are liking the sector and what would be our topics in that sector, and then a very brief paragraph on as to why we like that particular company in that sector. Apart from this, we also come out with strategy notes. So this is again based on certain economic event or any large event that happens in the country. So we would come out with a short, brief strategy note, 1 pager, 2 pager kind of note as to how the event has impacted the market and what should our strategy being going ahead in such a scenario. Like for example, recent being the COVID impact. So these are the strategy notes that we keep on coming out with from time to time. Like then during Diwali, we would come out with a Diwali strategy note. So then post budget or post election, we would come out with strategy notes. So we keep on coming out as and when the demand is. Uh, then we have a corporate action monitor, which is a very sought after report. So there's a weekly report wherein we cover the entire corporate action, right? As you can see in the index, we would tell you about all the bonus issues that would be upcoming, the stock split, the rights issue, the demerger, the amalgamation, then the reduction of capital, if any merger is happening, or if any buyback is happening, whether through tender offer or through open market, then any IPOs that is like the DRHP has been filed, so likely IPOs. Then the dividends with their record dates and everything. The upcoming board meetings. So it's a very exhaustive report, and you won't have to go anywhere for any corporate action. This is the best report that one can actually refer to. It's pretty exhaustive, and it contains almost all the details. Then on a monthly basis, we have multi-cap. So this is again a model portfolio. So as you saw, one model portfolio which I talked about, that was maintained by the institutional desk. This model portfolio, which is multi-cap, is maintained by the retail desk. And so it's a multi-cap portfolio wherein it has a mix of large caps and mid caps. And we keep on reviewing this every month. And we come out with a proper report as to what were the additions, what were the deletions, and how the stocks which are there in our portfolio, what are the rationales behind holding those stocks. So it's a detailed report that we come out with, and how the overall portfolio has performed during the 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month period. So that analysis is also there. We also come out with a newsletter, which is Most Advisor. And this newsletter contains equity portion, then the a commodity, currency, PMS. So it's a newsletter basically. From the equity side, we would give you 3-4 top picks, and there would be a small update from the commodity market, from the currency market, and then the performance of the PMS portfolios. So this is a monthly product that we have. Then there's another monthly product, which is Midcap Monitor, wherein this is basically covering how the overall broad market has performed, how the sectoral performance has been, and how the FIDI activity has been during the month. Who were the gainers and the losers in various indexes, that is Nifty 50, Sensex, Midcap Index, Small Cap Index. Then during the year end, we come out with who are the wealth creators and destroyers during the year. We also try to focus on a particular sector which we believe that should perform well over the next 2-3 months. So we try to focus on that sector. Then we also have IPO tracker, which is nothing but how the IPOs have performed, the various IPOs that came out during last 1 year. So how they have performed over the last 1 year. Then we give you the list of high dividend yield stocks. So it's a good list of 20-25 stocks which are high dividend yield. Then we also cover the various bulk deals which has been done. That is a buying and the selling which has happened by the institutional investors, or by the promoters, or by the known names like say Damani, Rakesh Jhanjhanwala, and the other known names. Apart from this, we also cover management talks, which is basically the management interviews that get published in the print media, or in the print in the so which comes across the various media forums. So that gets covered over here with the link to the entire link is also given over here, so that one can refer to the entire interview if one wants to refer to. Then we also come out with the IPO note. So whenever a company is coming out with IPO, we try to analyze it for our clients, and then we come out with our view on it. So if you can look at it, then on the left-hand side, the entire issue details gets covered up, and on the right-hand side, the rationale is mentioned with a brief financial snapshot. Inside, you would find in details the company background, and as to what are the key highlights of the company, and then there would be the financials which would be there at the end. Lastly, we have 2 notes, which is result monitor and buyback. So buyback is something which we come out as and when the company announces buyback. So we try and analyze it for the clients and try to see if that buyback holds any potential and if the client can make and can take the opportunity of that buyback or no. So we try to work it out and then guide you and guide the clients on that basis. Then we have result monitor, which comes during the quarterly result season. So there's a brief snapshot as to here we will show you the entire MOFSL coverage expectation. So the 240, 250 companies that we have. So what is our expectation for those companies that gets covered? Then for Nifty 50 companies, we try to provide you with the Bloomberg consensus estimates, and we also provide you with the result calendar of the A group and the B group companies as to when their results are supposed to get announced. So I mean, you don't have to go anywhere and keep searching when the results would be announced. You can actually look over here, and even the estimates would be mentioned for the our coverage universe as well as for the Nifty 50 companies. So that's it from the fundamental research products perspective. So now with a good understanding of what are various reports that we come out with, you can make a better use of them and try improving your trading or the investment strategies. So now let me move on to the Q&As. You can start posting whatever questions that you have. So there's a question that the person is holding MOSL multi-cap fund. So can you access these reports? No, you will not be able to handle the reports if you are invested only in the, if you're holding only the AMC product. You would have to have a trading account with us to get access to these reports. So how to see quarterly preview? So as I mentioned, that we come out with a strategy note at the start of the quarter, which is a detailed note, and it contains the quarterly preview for all the companies that we have under coverage. So you can go to that, go to the particular company and view its expectations that we have. Or you can also look at the result monitor, which comes from the retail research desk. So therein, in a table, you would just get what are the expectations that we have. I mean, the top line at the operating level and at the PAT level, what are our expectations, so that you can look at the result monitor. But if you want a little detailed version, then you can refer to the strategy report that I'm talking about. If you want a report copy, then you'll have to write back to us. We can definitely send it back to you. So all these reports are available on our website. You need to log into our website and then view the research section, and all these reports would be available over there. So whoever is our client, they would get access to these reports. These reports definitely come to your mailbox, and if by any chance they've got deleted, you can search for these reports by logging into your account. So on the website, you'll have to log in, and then once you log in, you can view these reports. So one question is, how should we invest currently so that we can gain from it once the market recovers? So the best, if you're a long-term investor, the best strategy is to start deploying your cash in a staggered manner. We have a list of topics in both large cap and the mid cap space. And so basically, if you want to look at our large cap ideas, then we have HUL, Nestle, Divis, Bharti Airtel, Reliance, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Infosys, HDFC Limited, Ultratech. Under mid-cap, we have Tata Consumer, Alchem Labs, IPCA, ICICI Lombard, and Dr. Lal. So you can start investing in these companies in a very staggered fashion. And in every correction, you can start accumulating 15-20%, so that once the market recovers, you can gain out of it. It's very difficult to actually time the market, so you wouldn't come to know as to when the market has bottomed out. So start investing now in a staggered manner. Yes, you can see these reports on your mobile app as well. If anyone is not getting these reports, then they need to write back to us, and we would definitely help you in getting access to the reports. Then there's a question on what's our view on the IT sector. So IT sector basically, given their worldwide presence, worldwide exposure, and largely to US, Europe, and EU markets. So definitely there has been some impact on IT companies. They have been able to transition to a very large extent to work from home, but then there are certain services which cannot be actually transitioned. And moreover, more important now to look at is from the demand perspective, with the economic activities slowing down drastically. So how the future deal signing happens, so that has to be, that is a key thing to be watch out for, and that would actually help us in understanding when the demand would revive. Currently, all the companies, most of the companies would be refraining from actually giving guidance. So, what one can watch out during this quarterly results season is what is the kind of outlook that they're giving. Like we had seen yesterday, Wipro did not give any guidance, and they're expecting very bad Q1. So, post probably Q1, Q2, once the things settle down, and then probably people would, I mean, then these companies would actually really understand how the deal signing activities would happen going ahead. And then we would be actually able to understand how badly a sector is impacted or not. But still, we believe once the lockdown gets over and once the economy gets back to a little normal, so a lot of investment should happen in technology so that companies be prepared in future for such kind of scenario. So a lot of investments should actually happen in technology, and from that perspective, we believe that the IT company should evolve over next 12 months. In this space, we like Infosys, TCS, HCL Tech, and among the large caps, and in mid caps, we like L&T Infotech. Small cap, normally we don't cover. We generally tend to cover the companies above 2,000, 3,000 crore market cap. So really small cap reports we normally don't cover. So there's a question, interesting question. How should a fundamental and technical analysis be combined to carry out the trading since a person is new to the market? So see, fundamental helps you in understanding as to how the company is, I mean, whether the company is fundamentally sound or not. So one should take the help of fundamental to first identify good companies, and then with the help of the technical, the company, the client can actually time the entry or the exit into the market for that particular company. But then fundamental is very important to identify good companies. I mean, one should refrain from trading into the companies which have got corporate governance issues or which are under financial stress or other impacts. So first identify good companies with the help of fundamental analysis, and then take the help of technical analysis to time your entry and exit into the stock. See, when you log into the motilaloswal.com website, so there you would see a tab called research. You'll have to click on that, and then there's various sections as to sector reports, strategy reports, company reports. You'll have to click on it, but first you'll have to log into your account, and then only you'll be able to view the reports. There's a question on insurance sector. Is it worth buying? Definitely insurance sector is worth buying because insurance is highly underpenetrated in our country. So it has got a structural story over next 5 to 10 years. So it's worth looking. And though the sector might be under pressure for next 6 to 12 months because of the economic slowdown, but then definitely this sector is a very good play from a long-term perspective. And I would pitch for HDFC Life Insurance and ICICI Pru under life insurance, and ICICI Lombard under under the general insurance. There's a question whether fundamental analysis helps in intraday trading or swing trading. No, the fundamental analysis does not help in intraday trading. Definitely on a news analysis, I mean, to that extent, you can analyze one news and take a call for intraday trading, but the deep fundamental analysis doesn't play a role in intraday trading. IRCTC view. So basically, we don't cover the stock, but then see, IRCTC has got impacted because of the lockdown, and even once the lockdown gets over, so for initial 3 to 6 months. The traveling would be very less because the tourism would get impacted. People would maintain social distancing. So definitely for next 3 to 6 months, the impact would be there. But post that, the company would bounce back once the full volume returns. So from long-term perspective, yes, it's a good company. The short-term pain would be there. So for there's a question that for long-term investments, which reports needs to be referred. So all the company updates, the sector updates that we come out with, or the various strategy notes that we come out with, you should definitely refer to them because it helps in making a call as to whether a particular company one should hold on or not to hold on from a long-term perspective. Then there's a question, is it the best time to invest in pharma and FMCG company? Definitely yes. These two are the defensive sectors, and even in the current scenario, their earnings have been resilient because since they come under the essential items. So definitely these two sectors, they have got the most clear earnings visibility compared to the other sectors. And so in FMCG, our topic would be HUL, but one can definitely also look at Dabur, Nestle, and Asian Paints, Pidilite. Because Asian Paints, Pidilite would benefit, they are the crude derivatives, so they benefit out of the low crude prices. In the mid cap space, one can look at Tata Consumer. In case of pharma, our topic is Divis, Dr. Reddy, IPCA, Alchem, so and Cadila Torrent Pharma. So these are the companies that one can definitely look at. So basically, in pharma, we are pitching for companies which have high exposure to domestic formulation and which have got little exposure to US. So and who have got very diversified business and strong financials. So based on these were our topics which I mentioned. So pharma, what's the future of the pharma companies? So see, pharma has been under pressure for past few years because of the price caps in the domestic business, then because of the US FDA clampdown. So there were a lot of issues which the sector was facing, but then this COVID-19 has actually opened a lot of opportunities for these pharma companies, and we see a very bright future for the pharma sector going ahead. And given the resilient nature of this sector, one should definitely hold this sector because in the bear phase, these companies actually help in capping the downside of our portfolios. Uh, so somebody has asked for 4, 5 small cap names. We don't cover these small caps per se, but then definitely in mid caps, one can look at Tata Consumer, Alchem, IPCA, ICICI Lombard, Dr. Lal. Yeah. View on BHAL. So basically, BHAL is facing a lot of execution problems, and in current scenario, the order inflow has also got muted. Uh, it has a lot of financial stress because its balance sheet is not very healthy, so working cycles are elongated. So I would say avoid the stock. Is there any online course from MOFSL on fundamental analysis? So so there's a like on the website you would find a link wherein a lot of articles are posted from time to time, which helps in understanding very basics of fundamental analysis. So there are short topics which are covered, and like certain ratios are covered, or how one should look at the fundamental analysis side. So there are like short clipses which are there, which would help you guide it. Otherwise, there is no online course as such. But then, yeah, there are short video clips, or there are short, sorry, not the video clips, there are short audio clips, or the short notes on the various fundamental parameters. What should one need to do during such times? See, if you're a trader, then one should clearly stay on the sidelines because it's very risky given the kind of volatility that we are witnessing day in, day out. But if you're a long term investor, then volatility definitely helps you a lot in building up your portfolio because we've always seen that over, like, post such kind of correction over next 12 months, the market does recover smartly. So one should take the opportunity, and if you're sitting on cash, then definitely you should invest in the market in a very staggered manner. If you already have a portfolio and you're not sitting on cash, but if you have a portfolio which is a good quality portfolio, then you should definitely hold on to it. Or if your portfolio is mixed, then you should do churning, remove the bad ones, and definitely switch to the good quality stocks. So definitely, but one should take advantage if one has to build a good long-term portfolio. We on SBI, so basically we don't like PSU banks given the asset quality pressure that and the poor balance sheet that these banks have. But then SBI is the only bank wherein we are positive, given the good growth prospects and given the good balance sheet that the bank has. So definitely, we are positive on the bank from a long-term perspective. Marico, we are positive, and we recently upgraded the stock to buy. So basically, it's key selling products like Parachute, Sapola, and all. So they are, their demand is pretty resilient. So there wouldn't be a very, long. There wouldn't be any severe impact because of the COVID on these items. So definitely, this company would be able to bounce back pretty swift. It would be able to bounce back fast once the COVID lockdown gets over. And secondly, it has recently taken certain price hikes, so it would benefit out of it. Plus, the raw material cost has been on a softer side, so definitely the operating performance would improve for the company. So yes, we are positive on the company, and it should be able to bounce back swiftly once the COVID-19 settles down. And the valuations are also very pretty attractive at the current levels. HUL definitely it is near its all-time, 52-week high, but then it's into a staple consumer segment, which has very, the resilient earnings, and the earnings visibility is the best among all the companies. So definitely it is worth looking at. So one should at least keep a watch on this and start accumulating it whenever there is a little correction. One can keep on adding on to this stock, but then it's a good compounding stock, and one should hold on to it from a long term perspective. ICICI Bank, we are definitely positive on ICICI Bank. It has got a very huge deposit base, and it has got a strong liability side. So it would be able to manage the COVID impact well. And moreover, once because of this COVID, because of the COVID-19, the economic slowdown would definitely impact the smaller banks on a larger scale. So these larger banks would actually benefit out from the smaller banks, and they would be actually able to come out of this in a much better way. So definitely ICICI Bank, one can definitely hold on from a long-term perspective. And plus its liability side is pretty strong, so it should be able to manage the risk very well. PSU sectors we normally avoid because of the main reason that the It's a like very few select PSU companies which does well on the execution front and all. Otherwise, normally the execution has been a problem with many PSU companies. The balance sheet problem has been there with some of them. So, I mean, the working capital is stressed for many of the PSU companies. So definitely, I mean, you can look at them from the dividend yield perspective, but then still from a long-term perspective, I would say avoid, except for one or two names like BL and all. Whirlpool we don't cover, but then it's a good stock. The balance sheet is very healthy. Since it's in a consumer discretionary space, that is white goods, so the demand would take time to revive because people would be actually deferring their demands because of the low disposable income. So definitely, like from a 6 months to 12 months perspective, there would be delay in demands, and because of the demand side issue, the companies might be able to liquidate their inventory because of the inventory pile up. So short-term pressure would be there in these companies. But if you're talking about more than a year perspective, then you can definitely look at Whirlpool because it's a good company with very strong balance sheet. L&T definitely a buy at this price from a long-term perspective, though it would face pressure in terms of working capital and all because it tackles the long duration contracts and all. So there would be a pressure from the working capital perspective, but then we believe that it's a very diversified business as they have, and they have multiple levers which would actually help them tide over this crisis, and it would be able to evolve out of this situation pretty fast. So from long-term perspective, it's definitely a buy at the current valuation. PVR definitely avoid at this level because currently there's nil revenue because of the lockdown, and in fact they have high fixed rentals to pay, so no revenue but then high fixed rentals and other expenses. So they would be incurring huge losses, and even once the lockdown gets over, because the people would be maintaining social distancing for a certain period, so it would take time for the sector to revive. So at least for 6 months it would be under a lot of pressure, so one should definitely avoid. Bajaj Finance. So we like select NBFC space, though the NBFC space is under pressure because has been under pressure. But then we believe that the large players like Bajaj Finance, HDFC Limited would actually gain from the consolidation that would be seen in the sector. Uh, that would be seen going ahead in the sector. The smaller guys would be actually facing a lot of asset quality issues, a lot of slippages, and high NPAs. So these larger guys would actually benefit, and they would be able to gain market share. So definitely, in next 6 months to 12 months, there would be pressure because the slippages would increase even for Bajaj Finance and all. But then, because of their stronger balance sheet, these companies would be able to gain from the smaller companies, and they would evolve as a stronger player. So one should definitely look at Bajaj Finance from long term perspective. So how do we define long term horizon? So by long term we mean more than 12 months. Medium term would be 6 to 12 months, and short term would be 3 to 6 months. View on auto sector. So see, auto sector was already facing a lot of problem, and COVID-19 has actually added on to their to the problems of it. We were expecting the sector to revive from the second half of FY21, but then because of the COVID-19 impact, now the revival would get prolonged further. So, in such a scenario, what we would advise clients is since the valuations have turned really super attractive, so one can look at the leaders and the companies which have good competitive advantage, strong balance sheet. So, we would pitch for Maruti and Eicher Motors at the current levels. What's the view on Kotak Bank? Kotak Bank, we are positive because large private bank with a very large deposit base. Though the disbursement would get impacted for a certain time frame, but then definitely these, given the strong management and the strong liability side, these companies would definitely evolve out, and so we're positive from the long term perspective. Axis Bank, the asset quality had deteriorated. The slippages had increased, the NPAs had increased over last few quarters, and COVID-19 would further aggravate the situation. So we would advise you to actually avoid the stock for some time. As I already mentioned, Dabur, Infosys, all these are very good buys, and in fact, these are our top picks that we have. IndusInd Bank, one should definitely avoid a lot of asset quality issues, corporate governance issues. So one should definitely avoid. Similarly with Yes Bank, uh, Cipla has got a high exposure to US market. So we would prefer, at the current situation, we would prefer companies with more of domestic exposure. So better to look at Cadila, Ipca, Davis, Dr. Reddy. Sun Pharma is a good buy at the current levels because of its exposure to domestic market and as well as the specialty pharma segment. So it's a good buy. I think more or less I've tried answering most of the questions. Some of the questions are repetitive. In case, so I would just like to sum it up that in case if anybody is facing issue as to getting access to these reports, call our customer care or write to us, and we would definitely look into it. But then I'm repetitively telling only the client, only those people would be able to view the reports who have account with us. So you need to log into the website to get access to these reports, and you get all these reports to your mailbox as well. So that's it from my side. So now, thank you all for your participation, and you can all log out from the webinar. Thank you.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.